Hey, I'm Christopher Curtis, and welcome to Jenga Vision, a show about blocks and friendships, and maybe about enemies too. Who knows? I guess we'll find out. On the show with me today is Catherine Mathys. Catherine is a journalist with Radio-Canada. She's a prof at Université de Québec à Montréal. She specializes in tech reporting for the La Sphère show. Is it La Sphère or La Sphère?
La Sphère.
La Sphère.
Yeah, good
There
French.
you go.
Good
My
French.
feminine...
Yeah.
Anyhow, she is also the author of a book about the Olympic Stadium called Statorama. It's like a love letter to someone who never loves you back. All right.
That's so not true.
I'm just kidding.
The stadium loves me back. I just know it.
I feel like the stadium's like that boyfriend where you're like, hey, I saw this dog on the street and he reminded me of you, and oh my God, we're so cute together. And then you see like ...
Hey.
nothing, and then 3 hours later,
Listen.
you see, could I borrow $300 million for the...
You know, it takes two. It takes two. You got to go to the stadium to love it.
That's
I mean,
true.
you can't love it from your
Maybe the
living
stadium.
room.
Maybe the stadium had a bad childhood.
It did. It absolutely did. Yeah, that went wrong.
All right, so
it's in the book.
For the people who are new to this, what we're going to do
Everybody's new to this. We're new to this.
I got to roll my sleeves up. We're going to build a Jenga tower as we speak, and when the Jenga tower goes down, the interview
I'm going to do the same.
presumably will be over.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask you first is the thing that's been driving me crazy. You're a tech reporter. You understand technology, artificial intelligence, that kind of thing. We live.
I try, but seriously, it goes so fast that even experts that I interview don't always know where it's heading and what's happening globally. So just so
don't
you
feel
know.
terrible.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you this question, then I'll move a block. We live in a society. We live in Canada where the government has can access your phone. The government, our spy agencies can listen to us through this device. They can track. Just last week we found out the RCMP has tracked people through their through the metadata on their phone.
Yeah.
We can know so much about a person, but I always used to think that, okay, well, they can see us, they can hear us, they can watch us as we sleep. But there's this space in my mind, and the space in my mind is sacred. And then I had this thing that kept me up all night the other day, which is that I'm increasingly giving that space up.
Absolutely.
Every time I type something into Google, whether it's what are cat hemorrhoids or some other crazy question, I'm like explaining my own anxieties and fears and desires to the machine.
Mm-hmm.
What is that doing to us?
Well, that's a very good question.
It's an easy
for a Friday
it's a
morning,
softball, yeah.
Right? But I think you touched onto something that's very interesting. I wouldn't do that one. Yeah. We're responsible for many things. I mean, it's not just all happening to us. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. We're giving away lots of data, and I liked your example because we're giving away also how we're feeling, how we're thinking. That gives away a lot of information that can be used pretty much, by anyone in different circumstances, and that's the problem. I mean, Google, Facebook, Amazon, all these private companies make billions of dollars off of your information, your data, and you're giving it away. Yeah. You're agreeing to this, right? I'm not playing.
No, it's okay. I'm not stressed. Don't worry about it. There you go.
I'm gonna. This is my first time. Okay, so I'm gonna try this here. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But.
So we're doing this on a voluntary basis, and so it's some people are going to tell you it's pretty much time to take your control back.
I think I should.
This is not going to be a long game, just so you know. I'm going to try to get to the end of the sentence.
All right.
So lots of private companies are owning our data, and we're giving it away so that we can enjoy some sort of space on the web. But it's funny that we would do that because there are some things that we agree to do on the web that we would never do in everyday lives.
Yeah.
You said it, I teach at UQAM, and every time I start a new session, I tell them, can you open up your bag so I can just sit through there and see what's in there? And everybody goes, well, are you kidding me? I mean, there's no way. But then you go on the web, and that's exactly what you do. I mean, there's...
But what about when the bag is inside your mind? Like it's not just where I'm going, what I'm buying. It's also, often it's like some of it is stuff that we do give up. Like some of it is, if you look at the most common questions that people ask, like they're introspective, like, how do I know if she loves me? Or do I have cancer? One of the most, there's like this other common one, it's like, do I have shingles? Do I have hepatitis C? Do I have, so like, the machine thinks we're filthy. But what about, I mean, there's also this information that we don't really maybe realize we're giving up. So like, the phone tracks where we go, how long we're there. Basically, it could probably also track who we're with.
Yeah.
That's super scary. Like when you read 1984, the George Orwell apocalypse, you don't think like that's an instruction manual, but it's, I mean, we're getting to a place where everyone knows everything, but really when I say everyone, it's at the top of that pyramid, right?
Right.
These billionaires, which I guess maybe there's a decent follow-up question.
Or government. I mean, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what's being used for what purpose, and that's the whole problem. I mean, that's what Snowden really wanted us to know. Listen, governments are gathering information. You don't know about it, and it might have an impact on your life. That's pretty much what Snowden wanted us to know.
It might have.
So it probably does.
Oh, shit. All right. I have the shakes.
Okay.
So here's another thing that I recently read this article, mostly about Elon Musk, the billionaire.
Yeah, he's something else.
Inventor, Tesla guy, and he said essentially that one of the biggest dangers he sees to the future of humanity is artificial intelligence. And I mean, that sounds kind of apocalyptic. It sounds like Terminator 2.
Yeah.
But the example he gave is also a little crazy. He said, what if we program a machine to, get rid of spam email? And the machine figures out the machine is teaching itself constantly how to get better, more efficient, and the machine learns that the most efficient way to get spam email is to get rid of the source of the spam, kill humans.
Well,
it seems
it's a little apocalyptic. But the thing is, there's it's funny you should mention that. I'm just back from South by Southwest, the big mecca of technology where everybody meets and discusses the future of tech.
I used to think South by Southwest was only music and peyote, but now it's everything.
It's
right?
a lot. Yeah, there's South by Southwest Interactive, and it's a lot of tech. And so everybody was wondering. A lot of artificial intelligence conferences were wondering where the whole thing was heading, because you're touching on the point that's very important. It's possible for a robot, or let's say AI, to get something done without getting it done the way we would intend it to be done. There's a way to get from A to B by crushing everything on your path. Instead, so there's some sort of we have to think of a way to get the robots, to get the AI to respect our values, respect the way that we like things done.
But what if our values are inefficient? What if our values...
But that's something that we have to, there's some sort of équilibre, help me out. Some
balance.
Sort of, balance to find out. Because it's not just about efficiency. It's about getting things done the right way.
The right way. Robot ethics.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I've heard there's actually, is it Google or DeepMind or one of these companies has actually invested a few $1 million into an institute that researches robot ethics. What is the best, most efficient way to...
It's absolutely necessary. I mean, if you just take, cars, the self-driving cars. I mean, MIT is looking into the ethics of that and you can actually go on their website. They have all sorts of different games for you to play. What will you do in such and such situation? You know, you're a car. You're getting into to an intersection, and there's two elderly people crossing the street, but then you have three kids in the back. Someone has to go. What do you choose?
Oh, Jesus.
Well,
We're asking the robot who it would rather kill.
Because, yes, the AI is going to have to take decisions. If we're not making them, somebody's going to have to make them. And so eventually it's going to be the AI, it's going to be the car. And so those are really hot topic questions right now, because if we wanted to take decisions on its own, then it's going to have some sort of conscience. It's going to have some sort of way of connecting to what's going on around it. Just like we do. I mean, we try to do the best that we can. And that's it, folks.
You know what? I want to go for a quick bonus round here.
I didn't even play!
It's the wobbly table.
That's
that's a scary thought, because like sometimes, you know, it's like robot philosophy. You end up.
See, this robot didn't want to go on with this conversation.
This
he said,
robot
"Listen,
made a
I don't
few
like
bad
where this is
blocks."
heading."
That's it. I was wondering where you're going with this is actually really interesting, because the robot or the artificial intelligence has to start thinking in abstractions. So, like, we for instance, robots have learned to play poker better than humans.
Right.
They've learned to play there's this South Korean game called Go.
Go, yeah.
And it's
chess.
It's like it's more complicated than chess.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to make these logical decisions, but you also have to make these decisions that require abstract thinking.
Yes.
And the robots can do that.
Yes. For that specific task.
True.
So the thing with AI right now is it's over specialized. So the Go robot, the Go AI can't drive a car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the thing is, and many experts disagree on this topic, but some think that it's impossible to get to that total artificial intelligence the way that we're not good at this, but we can drink coffee, talk, play, and you can think about your next question.
The robot can't do that.
The robot can't do that now. Some people talk about 2100. Some people talk about never because it's just mathematically impossible. Let's not forget AI is math. So you have to teach the AI how to think and how to compute. And if there's some things that are not computable, then perhaps you can't teach a computer. So it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. So how are you going to go from there to the stadium is what I'm looking for right now.
I just wanted to have like a hard stop. No, so you wrote this.
No AI in there.
There's no AI in here.
Yeah.
You know how I know you grew up abroad?
How?
Because I go through here and I read like all of this passion and all of this love.
Which no Montrealer has.
You lack the essential bitterness of a Montrealer. Like, I feel bitterness in my bones. I feel it in my soul. It's burning me. But I also, it like keeps me warm. Like, I enjoy the bitterness. You spoke about the stadium
got used to it.
as your lighthouse. That you from a distance, it's beckoning you back to Montreal.
Yeah.
Do you know who used lighthouses back in the day? Pirates. Pirates would use lighthouses to attract ships to the rocks. The ships would crash. They'd cut everyone's throat and take all their stuff. I think that's a much more appropriate metaphor. But I'm willing to hear your argument as to what about this stadium is so special.
I don't think we have many architectural icons in Montreal or in Quebec for that matter. I was just in Quebec City last week. I saw their big new stadium for the first time. I'd rather have ours. I mean, there's something absolutely unique about that stadium for many different reasons. First of all, it was an architectural feat to do what Taillibert did back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, to have all that concrete, in those round shapes is absolutely unique. He pretty much, I still talk to him, by the way, and I talk to him every once in a while, and
I'm sure he appreciates it.
I'm sure he does too. But I mean, he didn't get too much love throughout the years.
Exactly.
We can say that much.
Waiting by his phone.
But
Why isn't she calling?
You know what? He's 91.
Oh,
He lives in Paris, And I believe, I don't know if he would say it quite that way, but I'm pretty sure he would agree. The Montreal Olympic Stadium is pretty much what he did best in his whole entire career. This is what he's most proud of, for many different reasons. First of all, the adversity. I mean, the man had to believe in the project. Yeah. I mean, everything went wrong.
He's proud that he killed baseball in Montreal.
He didn't try to kill baseball, and he keeps telling me that. He really wanted. Obviously, it's not like an American stadium where you get to, you know, where it goes up a lot faster, so everybody's pretty much close to the game. We're a lot further, faster in the Montreal stadium.
Well, I think it's design first and then functionality, right? As opposed to sort of reverse engineering. How do we get the most amount of people with the best view? It's like, look at this amazing thing I came up with. Will it work? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's hard to do something that's multifunctional. That's good for everything. I mean, I think he first thought of track and field. Honestly, that's what I feel.
Sure.
When you ask him, he'll say, no, I remembered baseball. I met with Bronfman. I knew there was going to be baseball afterwards. But who
better to know about baseball than a Parisian?
That's what everybody says, right? You are not original.
I'm sorry. I'm just a jerk.
I know. I feel that. No, I don't know.
That's okay. That's all right.
But I know the bitterness about the baseball. And I mean, I personally hate baseball, but I would go to every game just to be inside the stadium. I went last week. I go to every single baseball game, even though it's just so long and tedious. But I enjoy, this is the only place in Quebec where you can feel the power and the energy of 50,000 people at once inside.
Okay.
It's something else.
That's right.
You can't have a boring moment at this stadium, and that's...
Have you ever heard of baseball? No.
I have. I hate baseball. I just told you. But I mean, it's still. I mean, you know, and I went to. Obviously, music is not, you know, well served in the Olympics. You know,
although the Pink Floyd concert, and maybe this is a decent.
You're way too young. You're way too young for Pink Floyd.
You went to the New Kids on the Block. I read it.
Yes, I went to New Kids on the Block. That's my first concert. Yes, it's out now.
This is like a seminal moment in Quebec. This could be the last thing. It's like sort of a seminal moment in Quebec history. Is that it was at the '77 Pink Floyd show.
Yeah. That was just the year afterwards. Yeah, go ahead.
So we're actually from the same hometown.
Yes.
North of Montreal, and the thing I remember most about being a Quebecer north of Montreal, you couldn't go to a teenage party without some ratty-looking kid with like a Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon T-shirt that was like 7 sizes too long, and you know, the Quebecers for some reason love Pink Floyd a lot more than I think they love this stadium. And I guess the one, I don't know why I'm even bringing this up, but I think if we ever had a country, we would, like, Quebec would debate between, like, okay, what's the flag going to be? Is it going to be the Fleur de Lis, or is it going to be Dark Side of the Moon?
But listen, I mean, the thing with Pink Floyd and all those big bands that went to Michael Jackson, Jackson 5 went to the stadium, I mean, all those big bands, the thing is, they're all
Guns N'
huge.
Roses.
Right, they're all huge. They're all either American or, you know, English. They're huge bands. And what Diane Dufresne did in '84, by being the first Quebecer to actually make the stadium, like to fill it with her fans, is to say, listen, we're not any worse than all these big bands, and we can also fill the stadium with fans. I mean, we can also get there. So there's a sense of pride that comes with the stadium. I mean, when you make it there, I mean, were you there at the baseball just last week?
I was, yeah.
I mean,
they booed the mayor. It was hilarious.
Friday?
Friday.
Okay, because Saturday it didn't happen. But Russell Martin, you know, what was? I mean,
every time he steps up to bat, the whole crowd
listen.
goes
You could
crazy.
feel a little something extra, you know. So being a Quebecer inside that stadium, doing your thing, there's absolutely no better feeling, and don't say otherwise.
Well, I really appreciate you coming out here and ruining my game. No, thank you. You're very generous.
I'm going to learn to play for next time.
I do appreciate it. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week when the title of the show might have changed and I might have been fired as a host. All the best. See you later.